Okay, Madridistas, welcome back. I need to give you my thoughts on this match. I'm absolutely just fucking livid, very angry about a lot of different things. Let me give you my thoughts on the match. I'm going to give you my thoughts on the match. I'm going to unfortunately have to talk about the refs. But also, firstly, let me just say this. We are never going to do a preview to a match again unless we hear Ancelotti speak, okay? Because Jude and Joselu had not been seen anywhere near the training grounds for days and weeks. And the day before the match, Ancelotti tells us that, they're both fit to play. So caught us by surprise, but lesson learned, and thank you for your comments. We're never doing another preview unless we hear from Ancelotti first, okay? That said, but I have a lot to say about this match. I'm, kind of upset about it, but let me give you my thoughts, okay? Let's get started. All right, welcome back, everybody. Let's talk about this Valencia match, which was, very, very difficult in so many ways. First of all, let's talk about the lineup. Like I said, nobody expected Joselu and Jude to be ready. Ancelotti kind of threw this in last minute, which was great news. But the lineup started. I guess the big surprise was to see Tchouaméni and Rudiger in the middle, with Mendy and Carvajal, on each side. And I think that what that signaled instantly when I saw the lineup was, okay, we're taking the defensive aspect of this match very, very seriously, because Rudiger and Tchouaméni are about as physical as you're going to get in the center of defense. So I think that really set the tone. The midfield, not really that surprising. Valverde, of course, played again, unsurprising. Kroos, Camavinga. None of this was entirely surprising. And then, of course, Jude. Now, I was worried about kind of what condition he would be in. He didn't show any signs of tentativeness from the injury. So, I personally thought it was kind of a bit risky to throw him in, recovering from an injury. But he did, and I have to say, I think worked very, very hard and I think played a very good game. And then up front, as you'd expect, Vini and Rodrigo. Rodrigo had a sort of muted day. Vini, let's get into the match now. I thought the first 20 minutes, I thought were very responsible. Okay, so you're playing away from home against a team that can counter very, very well if they steal the ball in a sort of dangerous situation. So we had to take the pressure and the sting out of the match. Now, when you're playing in a very, very loud stadium like this, the other team is very pumped up. It's very important the first 10 or 20 minutes to keep the ball away from them. Try to suck a bit of the energy out of the air, play very long possessions, and make sure that you don't lose the ball in any kind of incriminating areas, because they're going to come at you with a lot of speed. So the first 20 minutes, I actually thought, that they're not what you want to see, but I thought it was a very responsible approach to the match. Now, the goals came from two absolutely inexplicable mistakes. The first goal, I think, was a kind of crossfield pass. I think it was Valverde from the right, trying to cross over all the way to the left. Now, this is not something that you do in that area of the pitch, especially when it's crowded, okay? If the other team is pressing high and you have a lot of bodies in that upper third, the last thing you do is play a long kind of ball that you're not 100% sure of. So this was a terrible mistake. Valencia had done absolutely nothing up to that point to deserve a goal, but, this is a sport where you live and die by your mistakes. So that was awful. And then the second goal, Carvajal, a wonderful player who sort of always comes through, and we love him, and he's so trustworthy. But sweet mother of God, he literally passed the ball to their center forward. And then a one-on-one. Lunin, by the way, who had a couple of very, very good saves. And, hats off to Lunin, because he did what he could. But the two goals were just a lapsus of concentration, just very poor decision making, and it's completely unforgivable. Now, once we started to push forward. The game kind of changed a little bit. Obviously, Valencia felt more comfortable sitting back and kind of hoping for a break, and it gave us a little bit more time on the ball. It didn't give us a lot of room, but we had more time on the ball. Vini's goal in the last, minute of the first half, to be honest, not to get into this issue, but I thought it was poetic justice. And by the way, that fist that he put up in the air, maybe a lot of people in Spain don't know what that means. But if you're a black player and you've been insulted racially and you just score a goal in their face, I think I know what that fist means. And you know what, Vini, hats off to you. Well done. And thank you for the signal that you're sending to these people. So I thought the goal was fantastic. It kind of changed the match. And then in the second half, we played a game that we felt, much more in control. We were finding a bit more room. We were a bit more confident on the ball. Jude started to appear a bit more. So the 2-2, I think, I think would have been a fair result, but I cannot, well, let's talk about the changes first. I think, taking Kroos off, I understand Rodrigo was having kind of a slow game, and Brahim always brings that extra bit of energy. So I thought that made sense. The Kroos-Modric switch, I'm a little bit, less convinced of, because Kroos was actually playing a very good game. I don't think, other than a couple of shots that kind of went wayward, I thought Kroos was playing a very, very good game. And I think he was adding to the balance of the team. So I wasn't entirely sure of that change, to be honest. Subsequently, taking Camavinga off was, again, something to put Joselu in. That was a bit surprising to me. Camavinga, I think, was the best player on the pitch for, the time that he was on the pitch. I thought he was everywhere. He was defending very well. He was stealing balls. He was distributing play. He seemed to be present everywhere. He was the one player I wouldn't have taken off. So to bring Joselu in, I think that was Ancelotti signaling that, we're going for broke, all or nothing. So I don't know. That's my opinion on the changes. But then, once we got to 2-2, I could feel that we believed that we could get that final goal. And I think that Mestalla, the stadium, could feel that this was coming too. But, I have to, unfortunately, I need to talk about the refs. Now, I threatened about this in my first video, my introductory video. I am going to put out a video this week talking about the Barcelona Negreira scandal from beginning to end, okay? I'm going to tell you the whole story from beginning until today, exactly how it happened, and it's not going to be the opinion of a Madridista. It's going to be based on numbers, facts, and footage, okay? Because I need you all to understand how we got to this horrible place. The refs, the last penalty that they attempted to give Valencia, how could you? First of all, the player that receives the ball is an offsides. And secondly, the player that apparently has fouled slips, clearly. But they were going to try, and we're used to this. I always tell my Barcelona supporter friends that you're creating a monster, because if you force us to play against 12 men, as we have for 18 years, you're just going to make us stronger. And I like to tease them and say, you know what? When we win the next Champions League, it'll be thanks to you and your money. Because paying the refs and having us play against the world just makes us better and stronger. Okay? But anyway, now the final decision of the ref is something I have never seen before. And I kind of challenge any of you to tell me you've seen it before. When you're going to stop the match, you do it when the ball is either in a neutral zone or away from danger, or the ball is directionally being played away from danger. You do not call the end of a match when it is being crossed into the center of the box. This is not, I've never seen this before. The ref should have called it either before the corner kick or after the ball was cleared after the initial corner kick. That would be understandable. But you don't wait, and then when the ball is crossed back in, you call the end of the game. This is something that never happens. It's not supposed to happen, but it's the kind of bullshit that we're used to dealing with literally for decades. So anyway, those are my thoughts on that. And to be honest, and of course, Bellingham gets a red card at the end. How many players did you see yell at the ref during the course of the match, scream at the ref. But Bellingham, the politest guy on the entire pitch, who just scored a goal, what did he say or do to elicit a red card? Anyway, this is, like I say, this is the bullshit that we have been putting up with for decades. And I promise you that video will come out this week, and you guys are going to finally understand how we got to where we are. But anyway, a draw, a very hard-fought, unpleasant draw. I'm glad for Vini. 2 goals to set the world straight and teach these people the time of day. So I'm very, very happy about that. Difficult result, but we'll live with it and we'll overcome, because that's what we do. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the match. I'll come back to you later in the week with a video on refs. But I hope you enjoyed this. And as always, a la Madrid.